G'day guys, got a tip for you today that just might help you move along with some of your dynamics. In this particular case, we're going to look at a snare track that's been sent to me. As a good friend of mine, we've been working on this. There's three of us collaborating and just doing our own mixes and just seeing what we can pull out of this song that's, it's a few years old now, but it's still a good song. So we're just going to see if we can liven it up and have a little crack and see how things turn out. So in this particular case, I just wanted to have some dynamics happening with the snare drum throughout the song that just do things differently. Okay, so dynamics doesn't need to be volume, but it can also be just a change, something that the ear triggers and goes, oh, that's different. So in this particular case, I've got the snare with a gated reverb on the end of the verse, so if you want to have a listen to that. There you go. So when it comes to the chorus, I want it to, because there's a lot more happening in the chorus, I also want it to be able to do something different with the snare drum and have it cut through a little bit more, as opposed to filling it out with a bit of reverb, which kind of does tend to push it back a little bit, which is okay in a verse in this particular song. But come to the chorus, I just want it to do something different. So what I've done is just popped in another track right there, and we're going to call this one White Noise, because what I want to do is trigger some white noise every time that snare hits, and just give that a little bit of different dimension, dynamic, whatever you want to call it. So see if you can find yourself a noise generator. In this particular case, I've got one that's called White Noise. So there we go. So I'll just insert that on the track, drop that down there because it gets quite loud. So that's sitting there ready and waiting. So now what I want to put after that though is a gate, because I want the white noise to not just trigger the whole time and stay there, but I also want it to be shut down at a certain point. So what we want to do is put a gate on there. Let's go to the stock gate. No pun intended. And there's snare. Okay, so I want to set this one up to an auxiliary input because we're going to be dragging in a send from somewhere else. So I'll just go to that dry track there, the snare dry track, and just drop that straight onto there. And I've now got a send going to the white noise track. Okay, so as we play this, you'll actually be able to see what's going on. If we chuck this back into, there we go, let's pop it on the chorus. You'll be able to hear that white noise kick in with the snare hit. So we can adjust the length of it by just adjusting the gate. Longer, shorter. Just trying to get it to kind of match a little bit with that, how that snare sounds. The length of that decay. So there we go. And then you can just mix it in with the rest of your track. And it just adds something a little bit fresh. So what I want to do now is ultimately I want to be able to control when that comes in and when it goes out. So what I might do in this particular case is just put on a mute, and we'll just put that in there so that I know that particular track will know when to turn that off and when to turn it on. So it'll switch between the white noise and the gated reverb. So that way you've not got them both all happening at the same time. And then I can just automate in a change. So let's just do that basically like that. Drop that down, and then that will turn that off. No, let's do it the other way actually. Let's do it that one that way, and that one that way. That's mute, and then we want it on, and yeah, that's it. Yep. And then you've got the change. So you move from the gated reverb and you got a nice change. So it's just an easy way of adding some dynamics to your track without really doing anything much different other than just changing the sound, and the ear will pick that up as something different, and it's something exciting and just a little bit of a change in the song that people probably weren't expecting and ultimately may not even notice. but it just keeps that song fresh. So I hope that helps you guys with your mixing. It might be, as I said before, it could be one of those old tricks that you've just never tried, and it's worth giving it a go because it works. It's just dynamics, and keep it fresh, keep it interesting. Catch you on the next video. Cheers.